Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads. And hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. We're so happy to have you. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is Celebrate Great Britain Royally Rich Show. This show is all about promoting the great countries of the United States of America and the United Kingdom and all of the tourism communities and businesses that we proudly work hard to develop and maintain together. So the stars of our shows are legends in the broadcasting business, and we are thrilled to have them as the stars and welcome them back every week. It's Helena, Chard, and Ian Pelham Turner. Welcome.
Welcome from London.
Lovely to see you guys.
I don't know what it's like with you. It's freezing in London today.
It's 39 degrees Fahrenheit here today, which is much cooler than it's been, but I'm inside, so I don't really know.
So we just got a short bit of news from Helena, and then we'll go straight into our guest today.
We are, at the moment, everything I think is about the UN Climate Change Summit, which is in full swing in Glasgow. So most of the countries are represented. As we know, there's something like 25,000 delegates that have all arrived in Glasgow. And there are actually, in the city, I think it's about 120 world leaders as well. And there are different things going on apart from that too, because people, I think, in the hospitality is in the hotel industry. They're sort of renting out rooms that are normally £42 per night for something like over £1,400. So there is a big markup in accommodation. But for us, I think probably Dr. Jacalyn as well saw Her Majesty the Queen's little speech that was transmitted through to the leaders, which I thought was lovely. It was and really it was something very special in the fact that she was telling everyone, warning all the leaders to rise above the politics, the usual politics. And I sort of feel, they are not allowed to be coming from a place of ego. And it's just answering the call of all the future generations. So we just hope that things are going well there. And I don't know if you saw, she was wearing that lovely green outfit with the ruby diamond fly, which was really quite special. And that was just a nod to the late Prince Philip. So that's still going on, and I'm sure everyone's carbon footprint, it will be reduced if everyone works together. And I know that, Ian, you went to World Travel Market and saw lots and lots of things going on. And today has been all about the fizz for me, and just realising that I think everybody wants to be working and has to have a bit of fun in their life. No matter what you do, and I think World Travel Market is all about bringing people back together and reuniting, reconnecting, rebuilding thriving businesses and sort of ideas that will reshape travel. So I think that was all what it was about. But you were slightly disappointed in some ways, weren't you?
I mean, as always, the United States stand really does expound vibrancy, consistency, great values, and it looked spectacular. And then I needed a magnifying glass to find the British stand, because in comparison, first of all, this is a London event, so where are all the things that should be promoting Britain? And as I say, I was disappointed, but we spoke to one gentleman who we're going to be working with, and I hope will come on one of our future shows. And he's chairman of 18,000 tour operators across the world, the most influential tour operators across the world in this organization. So that was interesting. And can I just sort of say first, lastly, before we go on to our guest, as you can see, we're wearing poppies today. Now, Americans may not know what poppies are. Poppies are our commemoration of war dead, from global, obviously Americans as well, who were killed in the First and Second World Wars, and who joined, thank goodness, us in Britain to actually overcome the problems of Nazism. And so each year now, on the 11th hour of the 11th day, the Queen will visit as well. We'll go to a place called the Cenotaph, where we actually lay wreaths to the war dead to commemorate all that they do. And so basically these poppies are actually produced by disabled military personnel. And they make these all year in order to support a project called the British Legion. And the British Legion still support people coming out of, that military coming out of Afghanistan and all the other areas of military involvement for UK. Even right now. So that's why we wear the poppy from the 1st of November through to the 12th of November.
What a fabulous cause. I think it's so nice that you can see who's really supporting it by wearing the poppy.
Yeah, so millions of these are done, and so we're very proud to be wearing our poppies this afternoon too as well. So shall we carry on and bring out, and can I just talk about our guest first of all, Preet Dev. Preet Dev I met recently through one unfortunate circumstance that one of our great friends, Philip Chan, had died. Preet came on to me just to talk about her feelings, and I'm so pleased that she did. But Preet Dev has experienced tremendous traumatic times in her home country of India, and she's had to overcome them in the UK. And she's now become a great campaigner, but an even greater businesswoman of distinction. And so very shortly, she is now going to start the presidency for the United Kingdom and Europe for a project called CEO Space International. And this is an extremely powerful organization which brings together 40,000 of the most successful, wealthiest and influential business giants in the world. So now Britain and Europe is going to join the United States, which is where the largest membership is at the moment. And so this is going to create a new forum that we can actually help each other to build business at the same time. So if we can bring Preet out, please, and say hello to her.
Hi, Preet. So nice to see you again.
Happy to see all your beautiful faces smiling.
You charmer, you. I knew there was something I like. I like you all, don't worry. So Preet, you really sort of say that you reflect with a smile in your heart the obstacles that you have faced and overcome over your lifetime. So what type of issues have you had to deal with, and how did you manage to overcome them?
Well, thank you for your presence, and so lots of things from childhood. My Indian culture is such that they can't see ahead. They only see what's here and now, and they just want you to be prepared to be a good wife and a mother, and that's all they have a time for daughters. But when I looked within, I was always very connected to my heart. So when I looked within my heart, I thought I was meant to do great things in life. So when I was sent to UK as a bride to a British Punjabi family, I was looked upon as their servant, basically for free for rest of my life. But that wasn't the destiny I viewed for myself. So after 1 year, actually there was one dream I used to have since childhood, that my hands and my legs are really tight with the rope and I'm sinking. little bit by little bit every night, and I'll wake up in the morning with lots and lots of tears because I was so stuck in the culture, stigmas, and the boundaries they had drawn for me, and I didn't know I could. I knew inside of me one day I'll cross them, but I didn't know how to cross them because there was nobody to guide me. So I will just wake up every day with these tears in my eyes. And on the day I called the police to leave my ex-in-law's house, while I was waiting for the police, I had that particular dream. I must have fallen asleep, cried myself to sleep, and while I was sleeping, I had that dream for the last time, that I realized that I need to do something before any help arrive. I'm waiting for this Prince Charming or somebody to come to rescue me, and I there's something I have to do before that person or that being, the power arrives in my life. And I stopped pulling those chains in my dream really hard, and with a very little effort, they just broke. And all of a sudden, I quickly pulled myself out of that quicksand, and I saw this beautiful sun ahead of me, and I walked towards it. And that was the last time I had that dream. So then the police dropped me. Uh, yeah. So and then basically this police dropped me off to this person's house. Actually, she was my customer, and then I found my way in London. And I was this deadly combination of super naive and super ambitious. So I was just living in London and calling all the tech businesses, because in my PC world, my first job in the UK was in PC world. So I used to see all these technology, Adobe, Semantic, Microsoft, all these company reps used to come and stock the shelves before the cloud computing. And I would just go to them and say, hey, how did you get this job at Adobe? How did you get this job at Microsoft? And they were so kind. And I would read behind the boxes what the software did. And that's how I got familiarized with these companies. And I would just start calling the head office, and I would love to work for Microsoft. Who do I speak to get a job at Microsoft? So I got those jobs. It was really fun, and they gave me the high pay than other people, but I wasn't accustomed to the culture of these companies. And all the boys, almost every company, they were mostly boys because I worked in sales. They would just bully me to say, hey, what do you know this person? Do you know that person? And I'll be like, no, I don't, because they will be footballer or musician. And I didn't grow up in this country. I was 24, 25. And I'll be like, no, I don't. And then one day I go so mad at this one particular young guy. He was almost 8, 9 years older, younger than me. I went up to him and say, hey, never ever bully me, because or tell me that I don't know something, because I know a lot of things that you have no idea about. Do you know Stephen Covey? Do you know anything about Napoleon Hill? Do you know anything about James Allen? Clearly you do not. So then should have never bully me again. And then he back to me, he's like, and then he hugged me after in the evening. We had a Christmas party or something. And he goes, Preet, you don't talk to us anymore. What happened? He goes, we actually really like you. We just it was entertainment for them, but for me it was like a traumatic experience in the office, because they were doing quite a lot. So I had that journey for like 10 years, 12 years. And then 8 years ago, I decided I'm going to change my history. I rewrite my history. I quit my job and decided to go to university. Did my first business degree, and it was challenging because I was an academic. I was dyslexic in my school life. Because I was dyslexic and nobody knew even what dyslexic means. So my teachers hit me almost every day of my school life because they thought I wasn't smart enough for them. So that was really hard. And so at university, I thought in the university they didn't hit obviously students, but their methods were not that much different from my school life, I thought. So but I did a business degree and MBA. So now from last 4 years, I've been just on a journey to stand on my feet as an entrepreneur. I have huge dreams. I have no idea how, because I'm a girl from India who my parents just told me I'm going to be a wife. And so my dreams are huge. And I'm just like embracing that little girl inside of me and making her confident that you can do anything you put your mind to.
That's That's so lovely. Thank you for sharing that, Preet. And also and well done for standing up to the bullies as well. That's really important. Because once you've done that, I guess you've moved on. But what I'm interested in as well is congratulations on CEO Space International, and also even more congratulations on accepting the presidency of the company. Are you able to share more about this?
Sure. So while I was in my technology career, is there echo in the? Are you
No,
guys able
it's
to hear me?
fine, it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
It's
I
fine.
hear
So
you.
while I was in my technology career, I used to be a personal development junkie, and I used to read all these books, and I used to think, where are all these amazing people who talk like that, who have this vocabulary, this languaging? God, you have to bring these people in my life. So about 4 years ago, I bumped into the chairman of CEO Space, whose dad was a mentor to Napoleon Hill. And on the table, so everything we read in Napoleon Hill's book, Masterminding, it happened across on his dinner table with his dad. And on the table was Jack Kennedy, Thomas Edison, Walt Disney, Zig Ziglar, all these greats. And so when I met him, I was like, oh my God, that this is what my tribe. So he basically, we build a father-daughter relationship, and since then I've been committed to this organization, and I wished I had contributed more, but now is the right time. So from now I plan to help entrepreneurs to accelerate their business, whatever business may be. We have connections, people who can support them at whatever stage you might be at in your business. It doesn't really matter. As CEO Space, we've helped raise more than $2 billion for small to medium sized entrepreneurs. Um, on the dinner table, so we have like a week long conference when the pandemic wasn't here, so we're going to have the one in December. It's not 100% definite yet because of the pandemic. Still, we might not, still maybe it will be in February. But so it's a week long conference. First 3 days, we will have Bernie Doman, the chairman, used to run how to raise capital. So the power of that class was such. I was helping this one technology company, and I would come back home after his class for after 1 week, raise £30,000 in 1 week, £50,000 in the next week, so £100,000 in 1 month. So it was that was kind of the effect it had on me. That's how inspired I was with his work. And so then
Can I
after
just
the
ask you? Can I just ask one thing? Are you able to explain what CEO Space
yes,
International is? Because I know obviously you mentioned this a bit, but
stories, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
if you're able
it's
to
a
explain.
business accelerator organization. So we help businesses get to their next stage. We stage agnostic. We have attorneys, VCs, a bunch of authors, entrepreneurs, speakers from all over the world. They are in the A game. People like Sharon Lecter, Les Brown, Bob Proctor. All these people are elite members of this organization.
Amazing, thank you.
And just to clarify as well, you have to be invited to become a member in the first place. It's a very elite organization. I've been talking to some quite powerful people in Britain. It's quite a secretive organization as well. You really have to be somebody special even to be invited in, I think, from a business point of view. Is that correct?
Yes, very much so. It's we are a community of givers. So if we get anybody who have a different agenda, or they're not comfortable, like they just don't fit. I've seen them, they just leave because they don't feel comfortable. And so everybody's here to support each other. We do exactly the same thing what Napoleon Hill and Alan Doman was a kind of building 70 years ago when the Think and Grow Rich was written, 78 years ago. Masterminding, this is where I'm in my career. That's the next opportunity that I seek. And then everybody helps each other get it. So on the dinner table, we have single mom management consultant sitting, and $1 billion company CEO, president talking to each other. So same opportunity. which I love the most about CEO Space.
Thank you, Preet. I really love this whole concept, and it's great to see you again. And I was really resonating with you, what you were saying about Prince Charming. And I know I was always looking for Prince Charming or the knight in shining armor. I'm told he's on his way, but he's gotten lost. I don't know where he is. Anyway, I think you touched on this a little bit, but if you could elaborate on the moment in time that really changed your life for the better.
Yeah. It was about 4 years ago. I was still very much into my cultural bondages, even though I had done a lot of things already. I didn't believe in myself. So I was really seeking a family, a unity. I was alone in the UK, so I made the biggest mistake of my life. There was one person in the spiritual community I was part of, and he, I don't know, maybe he needed a visa, so he kind of talked me into it, and I thought that was a good idea at that time because I will have a family and we were practicing certain principle, and I thought this was good. But it turned very, very violent. So this one girlfriend of mine from Turkey, she invited me to Turkey, and she said, we sat on the by the swimming pool, and she said, "Pri, I see you work so hard on your mind, on your mindset, on your body. You eat so well. You take care of other people so well. You take care of your house so well. For what?" And she shouted, literally, she goes, "For what? A stupid man like that can treat you like this?" And that shook me. I was like, oh gosh. And then when I came back home, I had paid for everything, for my home and my car and my shopping, and I holded up. We came back from food shopping, and I was holding these 8-9 bags in my hand, and this guy was just walking empty handed like a bully person. And at that time I thought, I need to stop negotiating with this bully. I cannot. So I came back home and told him, and it didn't go very well. Eventually, it was a long procedure to get divorced from him anyway. So that's when I think we need each other. We really need each other. Once I had that unity thing, when I felt, okay, other people care about, I cared about other people. I don't work very well when I'm in front of very self-centered. Yes, we have to be certain, in certain way, have to be self-centered, because if this doesn't work and this doesn't function, and then how can we even be present to help anybody else? But outside that, when you sit in front of somebody and they constantly thinking, and I became very intuitive. If somebody has got that mindset, um, being just, what you gonna give me? Because I can categorically put my hand on my heart and say, I've never sat in front of any human being and had that thought. I always had a thought that, how can I serve you? So I always felt uncomfortable and out of my depth when I encounter these people, and emotionally I feel a little out of balance. But anyway, so when I had that community of where people cared about me as much as I cared about them, I started to thrive. I started to open up and show up in my certain talents that I couldn't develop as a child because of the dyslexia, and also the culture I grew up in. This started to, I would say it's a law of compensation. So I had a lot of gifts that God has given me. So I can't say that I worked on them. They are natural. Bernie Doman used to say to everybody, and to me often, that my super power is building trust on light and relationships on lightning speed. So that I was like,
Freeze in reality comes on, very segues onto my next question, because you're probably one of the most humblest people I've ever met, with the most powerful opportunities in your life. So I want you to describe, what are your values? But I want you to be pragmatic about it. I want you to explain to me, what do you feel are your values right now? Why you have been chosen to become president of this incredible organization for Britain and for Europe, the European and British part of it. Please tell us, because I think sometimes, I think you need to say it personally yourself as well. You need to explain who you really are.
Yeah, thank you. I think my biggest value is authenticity, because when you sit in front of me, you exactly know that my thinking, my speech, and my doing is aligned. Yes, sometimes doing is, I need to build certain competencies. So it might be that I may not be quickly become capable to get that job done, but I will give you a time frame that, okay, I'm like struggling with this. And but my authenticity is my biggest value. So you know exactly what you hear from me, and that's what Preet means. So if we could just learn to, as collaborators and community, and as a world, hopefully, say what we mean and mean what we think. Um, this will be really helpful. Um, I so that's the biggest value, and humility. Like we all were gonna have. They're always going to be bigger, like a more talented person. So if I come from a space where um, it's I think it's a wisdom to say that I don't know much. And if we start thinking, oh, I know everything, then I think then where's the room to learn? And then the third thing I would say is respect, because we as humans, we have a perspective. We don't know the whole um, truth. Nobody does. So we all have a piece of the truth. So it's really important that we have respect for each other, because then we have an opportunity to say, Ian, I see this particular thing this way. What do you see? And then we have that relationship, and then we have a bigger piece of the pie. We can see more, and that helps us to navigate this complicated world a bit better. So then we can make sense of these things in life. Life is simple in some ways and complicated in some, because we have these huge dreams and visions, and we're realizing. And then our leaders, you talked about COP26, and we've seen that our leaders are sleeping. It's like, okay, fine, they've made the big decisions in the office. Now they here to sleep, or we need to see some energy. They are leading us. So and then they don't say what they mean, and they don't mean what they say. So it's really complicated to believe them. So we have to show up and to be the divine light to and ignite and enhance that light,
Brilliant.
and show.
Preet, Preet, you mentioned that falling down is part of life and getting up is living, which is fascinating. Can you share more with us?
Yeah. It's inevitable. We will have hurdles. I always think that these hurdles are so we have option. One option is to sit there for the rest of our life in front of a hurdle and cry. And then second option is the main option is that we can say, okay, what strength, what resources do I need in order to overcome this hurdle? And then map that out with trustworthy resources and people around you, and build that power. How much, like if I'm an athlete and I've got that certain hurdle that I need to cross, I'm going to work out how much diet I need to have, what coaches I need, what is my timing, all those things. So hurdles are the same way, I guess. And then if we don't, we have another option. If we don't want to cross that hurdle, if we're feeling lazy, or if we distracted and we got too much on, we can bypass the hurdle for that moment. But then we have to carry the hurdle on our back, and that add a lot of more weight in our life. So it's very useful to and to build this skill to when we fall down, and just work out what is that I need, asking that question rather than moaning about. Yes, we have to have a certain time to moan about that, like that loss or the trauma that we went through. But then we can build and map out what strengths do we need to to cross that hurdle.
Thank you, Preet. You say upon reflection that the very things you allowed to break are now the things that are empowering you, and you have become a spiritpreneur. I hope I said that right. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure. Thank you for asking. So we have all these big technology, technocratic tribes like the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Elon Musk. So they are doing bunch of stuff, and then we have entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs who are awakened. And I was part of many spiritual organizations, Buddhist organization, and other Indian organizations, like where we practice spiritual principles. And I spent a lot of time on top of the mountains, we're living with monks as well, learning from them and meditating with them. And then I felt sometimes I felt they were also gossiping and then doing small talks, and I thought, and I didn't. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I judged them at that time. Now I don't. I'm like, okay, well, that's just we human beings evolving and elevating our lives. But then I met especially when I met CEO Space. Almost every person you will meet at CEO Space, they have spiritual values. So I kind of thought. That's a really beautiful combination because we can make big difference with spiritual values, because business and an entrepreneurship, this is we why we do that. Like, yes, we creating, but that's just a joy of life. So why should I, some people would say to me, oh well, when I'm doing business, these, and they will be little very direct or maybe sometimes even rude. They'll say, well, you didn't hire me to be or bring me to the business to be nice to people. And I thought, oh, you want to bet? So we don't have to be so mean to each other when we're doing business. And so bringing spiritual values and combining them with entrepreneurship, I think we can do a lot of make a lot of difference. In COP26, parallel to that, there's another event happening where it's focused on youth. The name has left my mind, but it's all these are actually people who are actually making a huge difference. A lot of my partner went to visit them, and he said prime ministers, Barbados prime minister, there were some other main the good leaders were actually coming to that conference, which is amazing. So spiritual just refer a term I really love to just explain that combination.
Preet, that's great. We're running out of time, so we have to have some brief answers from you now today. So,
Okay.
what do you think women bring to extra advantages women bring to businesses when they join them?
Amazing question. I think gentleness, nurturing people, and balance. Because balance and gentleness, all these qualities. Because if in the boardroom we're going to always be so competitive, then how are we gonna ever get anywhere? So uh, women bring a lot of values to bring that balance, and so we can have a great sustainable deals and opportunities and see them through till the end to realize them.
Free. We obviously celebrate Great Britain, all of us. And are you able to share what values Britain has given to you when living here?
Thank you. Well, I love living in the UK. So much is given me. I all the things I was able to do, like drive. If I was living in India, I wouldn't be able to do. I probably would be like a housewife, and nothing wrong with that. But my dreams were bigger and different. So it's given me everything: my freedom, opportunities to network with people like yourselves and learn from you and with you. Um, it's incredible to be so lots and lots of value it's added in my life.
Thank you for that, Preet. I'm wondering, how would you describe your life now, and what are your goals going forward?
Thank you. So right now, I'm really passionate about, of course, keep the spiritual values. How can we practically on the ground? How do they actually work? So bringing that to leaders. So I talk to leaders about that. But we also have a lot of technology resources and partners that we work with to bring sustainable development goals to really realize them. And also CEO Space Network, I want to keep building onto that and make it, because it's a huge network already, and so we can help a lot of entrepreneurs to get access to US, and US people also wants to have opportunities in Europe and UK. So so we have a huge opportunity to work on that. So yeah, so that's where my daily day-to-day gets involves.
Preet, I'm going to ask you a big question, but we need a short answer, unfortunately, today. This could be a whole subject, but what changes are necessary? And I can see Jacalyn's face lighting up already. What changes are necessary for women in business to help them become even better and more successful in businesses?
Wow. So real quick then, because of the masculine energy right now. So what is the balance? So we live in this patriarchy society. What is the opposite? It's not the matriarchy society to build, or even in the business, if you talk about like the ambition and the drive. And so I think it's a balance. So women don't need to like, I think we were so we had been trained maybe wrong by certain people, and we had also become a little bit like men to work in the business. I worked in technology industry, so I understand this how the boardroom women become so like masculine. So I think if we can balance that part, and also bring and even start introducing something like a traffic, like just balancing your energy before you have any meeting, any, and set the intention as well when we're talking about any agenda. So when people are coming, well, blaming each other, so just setting the agenda that here we're not going to hear ever blame. If some things go wrong, how can we now co-create? So I think that's what women do really well, and I would love to see more of that happening. uh, and then that I think in my experience has been out of balance. So that's, if we can balance that, that would be really amazing.
Great, thank you, Preet. Also, are you able to teach women how to find funding for their businesses as well?
Yes, yes. I've been trained by the master, Bernie Dorman, and yeah, literally. So I would love to do that.
Great,
And
great interview. A lot of really good information. I'm wondering, what advice would you give to the inner child you were before?
oh my gosh, believe in yourself and embrace yourself. And even if somebody doesn't come to give you a hand, or in things, you will work things out with time.
Wonderful. And how can people get in touch with you, Preet?
I'm on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. So Preet Dev, Preetdev. Just reach out to me. Happy to help in any way I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, just to sum up today, Preet, I feel, brings a lot of values in all sorts of areas. I think this CEO International, Space International, has got tremendous potential for UK and Europe, and I look forward to, Helen and I both look forward to working with her on that project as well. And I think, that it just goes to show that there are so many of these major organizations. I was talking to someone yesterday, as I say, he's the chairman of one of the most powerful organizations for tour operators anywhere in the world. And I say to him, what do you think about CEO Space International? He said, what's that? And the point I'm making is it's that it's a type of organization that really a lot more people should know about, talk about, and actually be part of at the same time. And I think with people like Preet on board as well, you humanize it. You create that humanity that is necessary in business today. So for me personally, both Helen and I, and obviously Dr. Jacalyn as well, I think we're all looking forward to sort of working with you and supporting you in this project at the same time.
I'm so humbled. Thank you for everything. Brilliant.
Thank you, Preet. It was lovely seeing you again. And I've got some ideas as well that I'll run by you. So it's wonderful.
Amazing. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Take care,
you,
Preet.
Preet. See you really soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. That was wonderful information, because I was not aware of that organization, and I'm sure that many people are now finding out about it, which is great. And I think you mentioned it's by invitation only.
It is. It's. I mean, it sounds like the Secret Service. You know, I've got a feeling that it's like a CIA of the business world. There and thereabouts, but they have to want to see you to actually sort of. But from what I understand as well, they're very, very good at once people become. It's quite expensive to become a member anyway. Something like about. Anywhere up to $50,000 to actually become a member of this as well at the same time. So they're looking for, I suppose, incubating, supporting from a business point of view, young businesses that they can actually sort of work with, invest in, and grow at the same time. So it's a very exciting venture, and you'll be hearing more about how Preet and ourselves are going to work together now. On this to actually sort of make this happen for her at the same time. So it is, but and you're holding your poppy with pride.
I'm holding it up on top, so I'm trying to pop it in the screen. Look.
And by the way, we do have some information from Preet. It's $7,500 to be a gold member, and it's $40,000 for a diamond member for life.
Yeah. So as someone who seeks diamonds. And probably you as well.
Absolutely, you caught me.
Girl's best friend.
So this has been a wonderful show, and I love how you keep connecting and collaborating, and I think that's what it's all about. So I want to thank you. We had our Halloween special that was very impromptu. I think hours beforehand I decided to do it, and we had some friends from the UK who have joined us, so that was really nice as well.
I love the costumes. I had to pull up the image of it. Is that Jacalyn?
It was me. And the funny thing is that I actually had my mom on the show at the end. She was dressed as a penguin, and she did not want to be on the show. She was adamant. And then after the show, she's like, "Oh, I really like it. I'd be on again." So it was definitely a lot of fun. So any announcements from the two of you?
I think at the moment there's lots of things happening. We're getting more and more good guests coming on that I'm meeting at the moment, and so it's going to be watch this space. It's going to be an exciting time, and I think Helen and I, are really looking forward to the future.
Definitely. And I think for me as well today, it was quite interesting that I've just been speaking to friends, family, colleagues, business people, and everyone is trying to find excitement within what they're doing. And I think that's just so important because we're obviously all part of a bigger whatever it is, and we're all helping people and doing things, but it's keeping that fire alight that's so important. And I think just before you arrived today, Ian, and I'd been speaking about things, and John Lucian came on. It was on the radio. I don't know if you know that song. It's "Who Will Buy." I won't sing it, but it's "Who Will Buy That Wonderful Feeling." And it's suddenly just, I don't know, just that thought was in my mind that everything that we do, we need that, don't we? It's like when you went to the World Travel Fair, and you felt certain things were lacking. We all need that excitement, and it has to be in everything. Everyone buys into that.
Absolutely.
So that's for me is.
I mean, you'll be pleased to know, Jacalyn, that the New York stand was twice the size of the whole United Kingdom stand combined.
I'm not familiar with this event. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Basically, World Travel Mart, it didn't happen last year, obviously because of COVID, but it happens every year in London. And it's all the major countries right across the world come to London once a year to actually highlight all the values that their country has for tourism. So you see, even the most poorest countries, and I didn't think we were a poor country because our stand was let's say probably an old-fashioned word. It was plain. There was You know, compared to, you know, I mean, the Americans. I love Americans. I love American tourism as well. You know, you don't hold back, and you've got everything going, the stars and stripes. You've got panache. You know, and it's what we should be having ourselves as well. So it's well done to the United States, and it is just one of these weeks that really happen in London that really we should be doing a lot more with, you know, in the way of British tourism. But as always, you know, I think British understatement really came into play this week.
I think it's surprising, actually.
Now, I wanted to let you know as we close up our show that one of the guests, one of your friends, actually is over here in the States and reached out to me. So I'm looking forward to actually meeting him in person probably before the end of the year.
Well, Chris George, I think it's Chris George.
Yes.
Chris George, yeah, he's coming to New York shortly. I mean, he's the most fabulous person. We've had several meetings with Chris, and his enthusiasm, his pure enthusiasm for creating and building businesses is just something else. So people will think, oh, you'll love him when you'll see it, because he'll bring a lot of value, I think, you know, extra value to what you're doing right now. And, you know, I think you deserve it, Jacalyn, as well. Yeah?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to actually meet someone from the virtual setting in real life setting. I think that'd be.
We don't push a button and we suddenly disappear. we are real.
I know it's, and I look forward to meeting you guys hopefully in the spring when it's safe to travel, for sure.
Absolutely.
So
We look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for another wonderful show. We're going to wrap up. We have a show right after this called Holiday Traditions. And today we're going to talk about Day of the Dead. And so my co-host is the lovely Daphne DeLucci, and we are interviewing Roland Friedel. So that's what we have coming up next. Anything you want to share before we go?
No, we're fine. I think Day of the Dead up there. Goodbye, Jacalyn.
All right, we'll see everyone later. Thank you so much, Helena and Ian. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor.